NXT Heatwave. All right, we're going to get into this show. Very solid show. Pretty good. Crowd kind of slept through some of it. Card is weak, but I think it over-delivered, if you ask me. Some of this stuff hit just the right note, but most of the card, I think, over-delivered, meaning it wasn't a lot expected of it, but it did better than I thought. Now, the main event was absolutely a knockdown, drag-out, well-told story that is for sure going to make Bryan Alvarez set his hire on fire, because Javon Evans was within a rabbit's whisker from winning the NXT Championship, but fell short again. Hell of a match between Obafemi and Javon Evans. Wow. Clearly the story is going to be Javon Evans was beat up from his match with Trick Williams and the huge bump he took in that match. But the story of that Trick Williams match is that Trick Williams had that match won, and then he got distracted. In this match, it was not quite the same thing. It was actually kind of in reverse, where Javon had this match won, and then the referee got bumped. But we're going to work our way there. I really liked when Javon started to fight back. To me, the comeback is very, very important. The fact that you can get people involved in your comeback is a clear sign that you're working as a babyface. Javon tries to do a springboard cutter. It is countered with an uppercut by Obafemi. The crowd starts going crazy. Great spot. Then there was a ref bump. Inexplicable ref bump. I'm tired of ref bumps in the main events. As this happens, Javon Evans hits a cutter. Then double jump, flying cutter off the top rope to Obafemi. Obafemi rolls near the ropes. A second referee jumps in the ring from the wrong side, counts to 3. The original referee, who is outside the ring, sees Obafemi's foot outside the ring and waves off the 3 count. Waves it off. The crowd is pissed. The crowd is chanting bullshit. The crowd is angry. The crowd is upset. They don't like this decision. While they are complaining about the decision, Obafemi lifts Javon Evans, launches him over the top rope, and he crashes through the announce desk. An absolutely gnarly spot that is immediately followed up with a fall from grace, and Obafemi wins the match. Holy shit. If you compare this to what happened on the same night, just a few hours earlier, with Hangman Page and MJF, this puts that to shame. All right? This was much better done because it's done by professionals. And likely professionals came up with this idea. The referee didn't die. He got knocked outside of the ring and he was down for a little bit. A second referee got in there pretty damn quickly, but he was out of position and couldn't see Oba's foot. The first referee, stands up, sees the foot outside the ring, tells the second referee, and now he has to wave it off. So minutes and minutes and minutes didn't go by. It actually happened pretty quickly. Hey, it's a misunderstanding. And the audience is hot about it because you jobbed out the babyface. But they didn't put the heat on the referees. Because even though the referee took away the win, that wasn't why Javon lost. Javon lost because Obafemi picked him up, threw him over the top rope through a table, and then powerbombed him. That's why he lost. These boys were cooking. These boys cooked. This was great. And the story made perfect sense. Look, I'm a Javon Evans truther. I truly believed that this was the time to give him the championship. I think that if you'd have let him win the belt with the foot on the rope or the foot underneath the rope, it would have been an absolutely excellent setup for an Obafemi return match. And they probably should have let that ride. They probably should have just said, oh, yeah, Javon won the title, but Oba's foot was underneath the ropes. What are we going to do next? Tune in Tuesday on NXT to find out what's going to happen. It reminds me a lot of the Rob Van Dam Undertaker spot, where Rob Van Dam pinned the Undertaker, but his foot was on the ropes or something like that. Or like when Kurt Angle made Stone Cold Steve Austin tap out, but Stone Cold had his hand underneath the rope. See, WWE does these things and they're somewhat professional. And this was a professional job. Great dusty finish. I would have preferred for Javon Evans to win, but I am an Obafemi guy. You ain't going to hear me complain about Obafemi winning. And then they didn't give you a chance to complain, really. Because as people are groaning about poor Javon getting jobbed out, here comes Ricky Saints. And Ricky stares down Oba and they jaw jack each other to go off the air. And you know what? I'm locked in all over again. Because I want to see Ricky go after Obafemi. I want that. I want to see that. I don't know what of these shows. They announced 4 or 5 shows. No Mercy, Homecoming, Halloween Havoc. They all coming down the pipe. I don't know. This match, though, needs to happen. And it just tells me now, and I'm almost certain, I'm at a 99% certainty that Ricky Starks is about to win the title. And it should have happened a long time ago, to be quite honest, but better late than never. Obafemi has defended this championship 9 times and has been champion over 200 days. He might be one of the greatest NXT champions of all time. Legit. And I mean that. And I was thinking the same thing about Trick Williams when I was watching TNA. I was like, man, he might be one of the greatest TNA champions of all time. And especially when it comes to attendance. It comes to attention. Bringing attention to the brand. The brand growing. He might be one of the greatest of all time. Now, obviously, you don't want to make these decisions now. You don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. You want to give it some time. I think in 5 or 6 years, though, we're going to really remember this Obafemi run. Now, it's not going to be remembered as it should be because he hasn't been involved in a whole lot of storylines. But this run of dominance has been better than especially late stage NXT Black and Gold. Hell of a lot better than Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, Samoa Joe. Like the last really great NXT champion was maybe Adam Cole. And he made me want to pull my hair out. So maybe Andrade. But Obafemi he's been tremendous. Now, yes, a lot of his title defenses have been against Trick Williams and Javon Evans, and they haven't really diversified his contenders, which has been a problem and something they absolutely need to work on. But in terms of presence, in terms of fan reaction and everything, he's been tremendous. I don't know what you do with Javon Evans now. He's had so many chances and he's fallen short so many times. I do think he's going to get the mark, and that is that he's going to be a guy who, like Rob Van Dam, he's close, but what they say, a bridesmaid, never a bride. And yes, we know Rob Van Dam eventually did become the WWE champion, but that was short-lived, and he defended the title, twice, and then lost it. He was champion for like 30 days. So I can see Javon Evans eventually getting the NXT title, or maybe he'll win the North American belt. And but I feel like it was his time, and I felt like they were setting up something between him and Ricky, where maybe Ricky would turn heel on him, and I probably would have liked to see that, and I think that would have been entertaining. But Oba and Ricky that's money too, and I can't complain about that. What I can't complain about is this mixed tag team match. Tavion Heights and Tyra May Steele are defeated. The American Heroes are defeated by the Canadians, Ethan Page and Chelsea Green. I'm not going to lie to you. I went to the bathroom. I made some nachos. I went a little hard. Also made like a smoothie that was like strawberries and grapes and cherries, and had some kombucha, some lemon juice. I was dried out, bruh. I needed some help. I needed to take a break. But I did see the finish. I did see the final stretch. And Tyra May Steele was getting booed. Booed out of the building every time she got in the same general direction as Chelsea Green. She got booed out of the building. She suplexed Ethan Page and got booed. She suplexed Ethan Page and Alba Fire at the same time and got booed. There was nothing this girl could do where she was going to get over with this crowd. The moment Chelsea Green hit her finish on Tyra May Steele, the building exploded. And then the building exploded again at the 3 count. Tyra May Steele loses the match just like I said she would, because she's an evolved talent. Now that leads so many people to saying, why does this crowd hate Tyra May Steele? Why do they hate her? What did she do wrong? I saw online the obvious answer. She's a Republican. And of course, the crowd hates Republicans. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know about Lowell, Massachusetts. It's the Northeast, so that might be true. But I don't think that's it. It seems to me that Chelsea Green is just over with the audience. And they don't want to see Chelsea Green lose. And they don't want to see Chelsea Green get beat up. And to be quite honest, Tyra May Steele is... she's on the fence, I think. I'm not sure enough people know her, care about her, in order for this thing to actually work. But the audience hated her down. I mean, hated her guts. It might be because she's a Trump supporter, but I don't think so. I don't think so, man. I'm pretty sure. I don't know how many people was in the building. I forgot to look at the attendance. Also forgot to look at the attendance for Forbidden Door. But I'm pretty sure the audience didn't sit back and say we're going to boo the Republican, because how do we know that somebody else in one of these matches is a Republican? We don't know. So I'm not going to assume that. Match 4. Going backwards, of course. Mariah May, better known as Blake Monroe, defeated Jordynne Grace. The match was actually very good. Crowd got a little sleepy. All right. The problem there is Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace cannot hold the people's attention when she's on offense. And Mariah May did a really good job early of being a great heel. She smacked Jordynne Grace and ran away. She was hiding behind the announce desk. She was hiding behind the announcers, literally running from Jordynne Grace. And of course, Jordynne Grace got her hands on her a little too early for my liking, but it was a good idea. Then we went into the Shine, which is the babyface part of the match, where Jordynne Grace hit her with like a leg capture suplex and a fall-away slam on the floor. And the crowd is not all the way into it. When Mariah May takes back over, she leg sweeps Jordynne Grace, and Jordynne Grace splats on the metal stairs to get to take back over. Then she starts targeting Jordynne Grace's arm. She's doing arm bars and such, and she's trying her best. Then Jordynne Grace gets the biggest reaction of the match when she hits a second rope pile bomb. Does I say pile bomb? Power bomb off the second rope. That was only a 2 count, which was tremendous. Tremendous spot. Earlier in the night, she ripped the third turnbuckle off. She being Mariah May. She was trying to flee Jordynne Grace, and she tore off the turnbuckle. Later in the match, Jordynne Grace's head hit that turnbuckle, followed by a DDT, and Mariah May won the match. I think it was a good match. I really do. I think that they worked very well together. I think they told a decent story. I'm kind of over the very convenient your head hit the turnbuckle gimmick. I don't like it, to be quite honest. And also, a DDT finisher after a powerbomb on the second rope. I mean, a fallaway slam on the floor. All the suplexes, the queen suplex, all the stuff that Jordynne Grace did. It seems so basic. A DDT can be pretty severe, but when she's being thrown around all over the place and she's surviving, I think they need to work more into heels grabbing the rope, heels foot on the rope, that kind of stuff, in terms of ring psychology and ring awareness for the heels, rather than them kicking out of things. Because sometimes the stuff that people kick out of, especially the heels, is pretty ridiculous, and you really don't want to see these things get kicked out of. All right, the third match on the show, working backwards. Ash by Elegance wins the Women's TNA Knockout Championship, defeating Masha Slamovich and JC Jane. So JC Jane was champion for about 40 days before losing the title to Ash by Elegance. This feels like a TNA decision. This was a mistake. Okay. This feels like a TNA call because JC Jane was really just warming up as champion. But it feels like they buckled under the pressure of you got to get one of their belts back. So they're going to take this one back, but they're not going to beat JC Jane to do it, to give JC Jane something to complain about, and maybe to keep her on the roster for TNA for a while. But Ash by Elegance feels like a mistake, and I'll explain why. Because it seemed to me, and I think everybody who's been watching TNA, that they have been building Indy Hartwell to be the hero. To be the one that goes to Bound for Glory and wins the title. They did this gauntlet on TV that was won by Jody Threat, but the whole point of it was to turn Danny Luna heel. And it was very well done in that regard. So they got something planned for Danny Luna, but she's a heel. But Ash by Elegance is also a heel. And there's only really one strong babyface in the division, and that is Indy Hartwell. The idea that you're going to try to main event or put a signature match for Bound for Glory with Dana Brooke is problematic, and I don't like it. Look, Dana Brooke has pretty much lost every match she had in NXT except this one, which is very bizarre. Okay? Very, very bizarre that the one match Dana Brooke wins in NXT, she wins a TNA championship. Now, there's a lot of people saying, well, they didn't beat JC. They didn't pin her. She beat another TNA talent. Which, yeah, that's weird, but she won a TNA belt. So, it's fine, I guess. The only thing that really happened, all three girls worked very hard, and it wasn't a bad match, and it had a surprising finish. The issue here was that the Elegance brand was on their best behavior, while Fatal Influence were cheating. And they got caught cheating. Jasmine Nix punched Ash by Elegance right in front of the referee, and got the Fatal Influence ejected from the match. And then, once Fatal Influence was ejected, the Elegance brand started cheating. They snatched JC Jane out of the ring when she had Masha pinned, or she had Ash pinned, or whatever. And they basically set it up so that Ash can win the title, and that's what happened. So, Now the Elegance brand have all the championships in TNA. And that's, I'm guessing, the reason why they gave the belt to Dana Brooke. But, okay. It's their championship. Who cares? Dark State won the tag team championships from Hank and Tank using a Doomsday device. I like that Hank and Tank are deceptively athletic, and the crowd was 100% behind them. But I could not give a fuck about Dark State. I don't care. I don't care, man. The opening match was extremely fun. Lola Vice defeats Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker to become the #1 contender for the NXT Women's title. This was a solid Jada Parker audience. They loved Jada Parker from the moment her music played to the moment this match ended. They kept cheering for her. Okay. That's the Goonie Goo Goo crowd. I already know it, right? Well, there's some Jada Parker, boy, but there's no reason to not like Lola Vice, too. Lola Vice has been getting a big push this year, the AAA stuff, and now she's going to challenge JC Jane for the championship, and it's going to be at No Mercy. So it looks like JC Jane might lose that belt at No Mercy, too, which is going to be in a couple of weeks. All right, it ought to be fine. Now, they did do some ancillary stuff on NXT as well, where they booked Lexis King versus Miles Bourne in a blindfold match, which is going to be terrible. There's no good blindfold match. They're all terrible. They're all very, very, very bad. This one ought to be funny. Jada Parker got into an argument with Lash Legend after she lost her match. Jada Parker was incredulous that she got pinned in this triple threat match. She was very upset. So that's happening. Ava announced that the Speed Championships are going to be officially part of NXT. They're going to have to do a tournament to see who's going to face Sol Ruca, which is weird because I thought Lainey Reed already pitched a challenge for Sol Ruca, but apparently not. The men's Speed Champion is El Grande Americano, and I don't think they're going to bring that gimmick to NXT. So they're probably going to have somebody else win it and then bring that person to NXT. I don't think they're going to do that, however. I don't know. I said before, I like the idea of the Speed Championships being a part of NXT, though. It gives you something different. I like that NXT wants to bring something different. Get rid of that Heritage Cup, though, and keep the Speed Championship. If anything, they should swap it. They should say, Stacks, we're getting rid of the Heritage Cup. Here's the Speed title. You know? Now they got to beat you in 3 minutes instead of, 6 rounds or whatever the fuck. It's to your benefit. Just do that. That's something Vince would do. Just switch that shit. Who cares? Speaking of Vince, today, August the 24th, is Vince McMahon's 80th birthday. So, happy birthday to one of my favorite white folks. In any event, NXT was a solid to good show. Fantastic main event between Obafemi and Javon Evans. Pretty good match between Mariah May and Jordan Grace. Pretty good set of triple threat matches there. Tag team match was serviceable. The mixed tag match was probably the weakest match of the night. So, you got that going for you. But overall, especially if you're a fan of NXT, this was a good night. You know? Maybe you didn't get what you wanted in that main event, but man, it has some action to it and it was really good. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you good people later. Peace out.
No one does it better.